All right, welcome everyone to the WorkGrind vlogcast. My name is Vaughn Gathings, and this is the second episode of the WorkGrind. Today's episode is going to be called Our Friend Technology: How the Long Tail in Technology Has Simplified Creativity. So here are the two books we're going to be using today. So the book on the left is going to be called The Long Tail: Why the Future of Business is Selling Less of More, and it's written by Chris Anderson. I'm going to talk a little bit about Mr. Anderson on the next slide. And the next book is the book I used last week, The End of Jobs: Money, Meaning, and Freedom Without the 9 to 5. And this book is written by Taylor Pearson, and he uses concepts of the long tail. So that's why I used both books today. Great books. If you had a chance to read them, great. If not, you can listen here. You can get a little bit of understanding of what the long tail is and how does it relate to the job market. So what is the long tail? A theory that was created by Chris Anderson in 2004, which became a book in 2006. So Mr. Anderson was the editor in chief at Wired magazine. He posted this article about this business concept, this economic concept called the long tail, and it got really popular and became a book in 2006. So we're talking about a concept used 10 years ago that's still running today, people. So this is what we mean by, this vlogcast. We want to talk about things that's gonna be relevant years to come, that's gonna impact our job market, our workforce, and our future. So something used in 2006 that is still holding true to 2000 in 2016/17, because this might be released at the beginning of next year. So when low demanding products or low selling products can create a market share that can outperform high performing products if the distribution channel is large enough. That is what the long tail is. So, very long definition. I know words you probably don't understand. I'm going to break them down, but today is pretty much talking about making job creation simple. This is a simplified way of making job creation using technology to your advantage. So, in context of the long tail, we're talking about making job creation simple. That's what the long tail is. That's what I want you to think about today. So, words to know: low demand, lacking in interest compared to higher performing products. So, let's talk about um, shoes. Let's talk about Fila's. Let's talk about New Balances, and let's talk about K Swiss. Do people still wear K Swiss anymore? I don't. I haven't seen anyone wear a pair of K Swiss. We're going to use K Swiss. We know those are less popular products, shoes, in comparison to Nikes. So that's an example of low demand. We can say the same about low selling. K Swiss, Fila's, um, New Balance. They're not being purchased at the same rates of Nikes. So they're two peas in the pod. Market share: a brand, product, or an organization that controls a market and or an industry. So Nike. So Nike is the biggest shoe brand. Yeah, you might have competitors every now and then. A pair of Adidas or Under Armour might compete, but we know that Nike dominates that industry, and whatever they do kind of dictates how the industry um, maneuvers. So Nike brings out a certain type of shoe with a certain type of technology. We know Under Armour might do something to compete with it, or Adidas might do something to compete. So they control that industry. They sell majority of the shoes. They profit the most. They have some of the most cutting edge creation in their shoes. We know shoes are even getting like technological advances now. So they control the market. They have a huge market share, and everyone else is kind of like seeing what does Nike do. Under Armour is looking at what is Nike doing. who do we have to sign as the face of Nike? So, for example, we need, if you look at terms of marketing, okay, um, I'm Under Armour. We need a star to sign that's going to help us get revenue. Let's sign Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors. His popularity is rivaling LeBron James, who's the face of Nike. So if I'm Adidas, I need to sign somebody. Okay, let me sign James Harden. This is in terms of basketball. If you don't understand basketball, let me sign this player James Harden because we know he has a popularity that can potentially rival and help us compete with Nike. So Nike, they're always the hunted in this case in the market. They're whatever they do dictates the market. So distribution channel. And I'm sorry to use basketball. That's the first thing I thought of. But yeah, so if you know me, you know I'm a basketball fan. So that was the best way I can do it. If you want a simpler way, you can contact me. Distribution channel, the way a product reaches the consumer. So we just think about how the product is created and gets to that person. We know there are factories. There are people doing things with their hands. There are people who are doing things with e-commerce. So this is a way a product reaches somebody, whether it's through a store, e-commerce, straight from the factory, distribution channels. Very easy thing to think about. High performing. So we talk about high performing products that are bought or sold at a high rate. Let's think about in terms of Nike. Nike outsells everybody. They dominate that market share. They are always the top dog in that industry. McDonald's the same way with fast food. Apple the same way with technology, even though Apple's kind of on the downside, but they're still a powerful brand. So that's what we mean by high performing. And then we have disruptive innovation, something that can affect a market or a trend. So we talk about disruptive innovation. There's always this idea, this way of thinking that comes that just knocks everything out the way, does things differently. So that's what this long tail concept is all about. So I want you to think about those terms and know those terms. So the long tail, what is the long tail? So this is where the idea of the long tail comes from. So I know if you're probably watching the title, reading the title, I should say, you're probably wondering what is the long tail. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, probably jogging, driving, doing cooking, doing something doing something at the same time. This is one thing I do want you to look at, the figure of the long tail, because this is what Mr. Anderson is talking about. And I'm going to break this down really quick. So imagine this diagram is the marketplace. And then you have the head of the market and you have the tail of the market. So the head of the market is here. So that when we got a head of the market and you see the word popularity, this is how popular the market or the industry is. So let's look at the fast food industry. So the head will get bigger. The head will get taller, however you want to put it. That's represents the popularity. But the tail represents the products that are created, and this can be the reason why that arrow is there. This could be an infinity number of products, endless number of products. So if this is fast food, if it's very popular, because fast food is very popular for some odd reason, um, even if they're not as healthy, the products can be McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, Chipotle, Wendy's, and the list goes on. So, but it doesn't have to be those um, organizations or those brands. It could be an endless number. That's how a long tail works. The tail gets fatter, because of niches. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but this is how the long tail operates. So if you're reading and watching, or if you're listening to this while doing something, if you want to know how the long tail works, just pick up the phone, pick up your laptop, whatever, and just look at this figure. So how is creation made simple? So let's look at this diagram on the left really quick. Again, if you're watching, I really want you to listen. I'm trying to get out the habit of having you watch things, because I know people are doing 100 things at once. I'm just glad if you're listening to this. But if you are, just look at this image, and this is how the long tail operates figure by figure. So this first figure is I was talking about. The more stuff lengthens the tail, so the more products makes the tail longer. Step one, the production costs are shrinking. More business is being created. So because I don't need money, I don't need the same tools to start an organization. More organizations can be started. More creators are more competition is being created. More jobs is being created because I don't need what I used to need back in the day. So startups can be created with little to no cost at all. Low tools and low production needs. So, for example, if I got my license to, I can, okay, not license, but if I wanted to start a restaurant, I don't need a physical location. I can start a food truck, and I can drive that thing. If as long as I have my sanitation license, whatever my license to sell food, I can drive that thing right wherever I want, right in front of any restaurant I want, and sell whatever I want. For example, I can park it next to a McDonald's and sell McDonald's near it. I mean, not sell McDonald's, but sell hamburgers or sell fries near it. So I can be a competitor without going through the same steps as opening and a store, hiring people, making sure they have benefits. So I can be a competitor with little to no cost at all. Online video rentals are the same way. If I have a way I can create a e-commerce, a video store, then I can sell it online. I can sell movies online. For example, that's what YouTube did. YouTube, Amazon, they just sell their movies, and they sell the movies online on YouTube, on Amazon Prime, Amazon Video. We're not even talking about Netflix. We're just talking about just a simple renting distribution. So I can sell those things, I can rent those, and I can put Blockbuster out of business. I don't have to go to Family Video. I can do anything on the palm of my hands. So people don't have to like go to Family Video. They can just go on their Xbox and rent a video. They can go on their laptop and rent a movie. They can go on their phone and rent a movie. So and you just put a lot of people out of business. And we're gonna talk about people getting put out of business, but this right now is talking about how things are way simpler than they were before. I don't need that physical space. I can just do it on the palm of my hands, through my phone, through my internet, through my laptop, however I want to do it. And these things can be created to disrupt long-standing, outperforming organizations. So we saw what happened to Blockbuster in the late 2000s. We saw what happened to Borders. Barnes and Nobles, the bookstore, is still up. They're still hanging on, but it's not going to be a need for too many places, because if I can do things on my cell phone, my tablet, my laptop, what's going to be the point of going to the store? So this is how creation is made simple. If you're trying to create, you have everything you need. So everyone can distribute. So you have media distribution on the palm of your hand. So if you look at that figure, we're looking at the long tail again. More access to niches fatten the tail. So we're talking about niches here. So, and I'm going to break down what I mean by a niche. So you have all the media distribution in the palm of your hands, meaning with YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, SoundCloud, Tumblr, Blogger, all these places, I can reach a niche-based audience, people. I don't have to go through a big marketing agency, a big advertising agency. It's great if they do it, if I can get a reach, but if I want to, I can reach a certain audience, a niche-based audience. So, for example, I'm a musical artist, and I am I like Japanese hip hop. I do Japanese hip hop. I don't have to go through whatever hip hop station, the radio, to reach that audience. I can go right on YouTube, Instagram, SoundCloud. I can hashtag it. I can I can give that music away to people who like that audience. I don't have to go to the radio and say, "Oh my God, I hope they play this song." I can do it right here. It's so much easier to reach a niche based audience because there are people who don't want to go through the mainstream. They don't want to go through the broad way of doing it. They want to get to where they want to get to. They don't want to worry about is my favorite song on the radio. I got Spotify. I can get a playlist of everything I want and listen to it. So that's what we mean by a niche based audience. People who like certain things, they're into subcultures. No, they're not into mainstream cultures. They want to find easier ways to get to where they want to get to or get what they want to get. So though broad promotion is still great, you can definitely do without it. You don't need radio or television ads. If you have it, that's great, but you got everything on the palm of your hands. You got the marketing, the advertising. Yes, it's a science. I'm learning how to do it. Even though it's not easy, it's pick up one, two, three, but there is a way you can reach people, without using spending a bunch of money or going through like TV ads or radio. Step three. So new markets are revealed every day thanks to niche creation. So because we have these niches and these subcultures, there are way more of those than there are major players. So yeah, so let's think of music again. So we know let's talk about hip hop music. We know hip hop is a dominant genre, but we know there are niches that people like. We have underground hip hop, alternative hip hop, however you want to call it. It could be saying interchangeably. Japanese hip hop. We have people that just probably like breakdancing. I don't have to go through mainstream to get that. I don't have to go through hip hop. I can just find those niches, and there are way more niches than there are major players nowadays. There's way more niches than there are hits and blockbusters. So the niche is where you want to be because you can find the audience you're looking for, and maybe you can get so powerful that audience um an audience becomes bigger. You don't have to be that audience. You can become so popular and so trendy, become bigger, but you can reach the audience you want. You don't have to go through the traditional way of doing things anymore. So here's a quote by Mr. Pearson. Just as a record store could only stock so many records, traditional markets could only support so many businesses. The internet has changed the rules, revealing new markets every day. A new market is created every day. New niches are created every day. You don't have to worry about the big broad niche that's gonna, well, not niche, the big broad like culture that's going to dictate everything. You can go and find who you want to find because you have the internet, and that's how making creation is easy. And that's how creating is easy, I should say, because you can do everything you want on the palm of your hands. You can reach who you want to reach. You don't have to cater or pander to people who don't want to listen to your things. You can find who you want to find. So here's the takeaways. Production costs are shrinking. More business can be created. So you can create more because you don't need the same amount of money to produce or to buy tools. So for example, this this vlogcast I do. So probably what 15 years ago, I probably, if I wanted to reach people, I would probably hope, maybe I can get on the radio, maybe I can get a hotline. I don't know. I don't have to do any of that. I could just go on YouTube and put this up, and I can reach who I want to reach. And as I said, it's not easy reaching people you want to reach. I don't need radio anymore. It's way simpler than what it used to be. I don't need to go to a hotline distribution. I can just do it on my own. And just like I just stated, in step two, I have the tools in the palm of my hands. I have YouTube, I have Instagram, I have Facebook to do all the marketing. I can. It can be possible. I don't ever need to get a marketing agency or ever need assistance. And we know there are some people who are successful that never needed those things. They just found the way to get to that niche audience, and that niche audience grew. It got so popular they got to other niches, and it became bigger, whether it was a business, a music artist, whoever. And new markets are revealed every day thanks to niche creation. So there are people who are just getting tired of the same old. For example, like I said, um, if I'm thinking about music, if I'm thinking about rock music, I can find a certain type of rock. I don't have to like worry about whether this big rock channel or this big music channel is going to play my favorite artist. No, I can go right to SoundCloud. I can go right to Spotify. I can go right to YouTube and find that artist. So that's what I mean by making creation simple. Creation is so simple nowadays. And again, it's easier said than done. It really is. Like right now, what I'm doing here is very much hard. It's very difficult trying to get people who like what I'm doing, but it's simpler than what it was 10, 15 years ago. So take advantage of that if you're in the mood of being entrepreneurial, creating, trying to get something off the ground. You have tools that's going to make it so simple, and it's going to get easier and easier and easier. So, part two of the long tail, I'm going to post tech the enemy. So the long tail has pros and it has cons. We're going to talk a little bit about those pros and cons. And can tech be our enemy just as much as our friend? And we got to think about the jobs that have been taken away, the opportunities that have been taken away. So tune in to that. Contact me. That's my contact information on the bottom right on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, email, YouTube. And please, I hope you enjoyed. If you have any comments, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. If you know anyone that's interested in getting their products promoted, please, please, please let me know. My name is Vaughn Gathings. Please enjoy your new year. Have a happy, 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 prosperous new year. Thank you.